When you go ahead and call the Schaumburg Village Board meeting for Tuesday, July 28th, 2020 to order. If I can remind everyone, as I am doing it right now, is to turn your phones off, any cell phones, so we don't have any of those distractions. We're also on Zoom, so just be aware. First item is the roll call. If the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Kozak.
Here.
Trustee Conley.
Here.
Trustee Sullivan.
Present.
Trustee Dunham.
Here.
Trustee Madej.
Present.
Trustee Bishke.
Present.
And Trustee Daly.
I'm President Daly.
Thank you. Trustee
I'm
President,
sorry.
whatever.
Old
Yes,
habits.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Are you sure?
It's all right. Been one of those days. I understand. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to ask Trustee Madej to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Audience, please rise. Zoom attendants may join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Madej. Next item is the approval of minutes. We have the July 14, 2020 regular minutes.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bishke.
Aye.
Next item is the July 14, 2020 executive session minutes. Any further questions, comments?
Move to approve as presented. Second.
Motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej. Trustee Bishke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Next item is approval of expenditures. We have expenditures in the amount of $3,792,615.50. Any questions, comments?
Move the approved expenditures as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bishke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Liquor license request. There is none listed here, but I do have one for just to present. And that is, we should have a Christine, there she is, Christina Dickens. She's the attorney with Christopoulos Law Group, who's representing Amazon. So we're in the process of potentially making some changes, and she's in the process of doing the paperwork that needs to be done in order to get a liquor license for Amazon. And so I'd like to offer the opportunity for anyone to have any specific questions for her. I think we all know where the location is. It's over by Roselle and Golf. We're trying to make sure this keeps moving so that when they get to the opening, which is going to be in another month or so, they'll be ready to go. So do you have any questions for Christine? Is it Christina, I believe, right? Christina, did you have any comments you want to make?
No, I'm happy to answer any of the board's questions, and I appreciate Mayor Daley. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the board's time as well. Amazon is hoping to open on September 10th. It's a 43,000 square foot store for the sale of general merchandise, groceries, and packaged alcohol, which is why we're requesting a Class K liquor license. The location is at the 16 East Golf Road location. And we are here just to do an introduction to the board in hopes that we can, if possible, have final approval by the next board meeting in lieu of the August meeting, which will allow us an earlier licensing time to onboard vendors and stock inventory.
Trustee Conley.
Will you be having a cafe and serve liquor there?
That's not the goal at this point. Amazon is always looking for new ventures and possible opportunities, but at this point, no on-site consumption
Not
is
at the
desired
time.
at this location.
And would you like us then, Mayor, to discuss the issue that we had before Finance Committee, that we referred from Finance to Committee of the Whole?
No, I think we're going to be able to do that at Committee of the Whole. I just wanted to get this piece in play.
Okay.
But yeah, we still have to have conversation. The Lance attorney and Brian Townsend and I had some conversation about that, so there's some question as to how that's going to need to play out. So we'll leave it go for Committee of the Whole, it's fine.
And that will
So-
meet the petitioner's
Yeah,
timeline?
then hopefully we get through that. They'll be able to get approval the last board meeting of August and be good to go. So, other questions, comments? Okay. All right, moving on. We have a consent agenda. It'll be read in its entirety, voted on as one motion to approve. If you wish to discuss an item further, please indicate that when the item is read by the village clerk so that it can be removed from the consent agenda and discussed further under committee reports. Otherwise, all items will be approved as presented on the consent agenda and one motion to approve. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Number 1, Engineering and Public Works Committee. The motion would be to approve a resolution eliminating the need for a surety bond requirement for permit work to be performed by the Village of Schaumburg on state-maintained right-of-way. The motion would be to recommend the village board authorize the village manager to execute an agreement for the 5th phase of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District MWRD Infiltration Inflow Control Program, IICP, Sanitary Sewer Evaluation Survey, SSES, Rehabilitation Design and Construction Services with RJN Group, Inc. of Wheaton, Illinois, in the amount of $214,435 and approve the required resolution. C, the motion would be to authorize the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement for small cell permit review assistance with Civil Tech Engineering, Inc. of Itasca, Illinois, in the amount of $77,000 and approve the required resolution. D, the motion would be to authorize the village manager to execute an agreement for the year 2021 Spring and Scooth Road Culvert Phase 2 engineering services with WBK Engineering, LLC of St. Charles, Illinois, in the amount of $127,926.50 and approve the required resolution. 2, Finance, Legal, and General Government. The motion would be to approve the Finance Department monthly report for June 2020. B, the motion would be to approve a contract for the marketing of 90 North with Rockland Irving of Morton Grove, Illinois, in the amount of $100,000. C, the motion would be to approve membership in the National League of Cities, and that membership dues in the amount of $6,247 be paid. D, the motion would be to refer the proposed ordinance for off-premise delivery of packaged liquor to Committee of the Whole. E, the motion would be to adopt an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $272,500,000 general obligation bonds to refund certain outstanding bonds by the Village of Schaumburg and pay costs of certain capital improvements within the village, providing for the levy of taxes to pay said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof, and an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $14 million general obligation bonds to pay costs of general municipal improvements within the village, providing for the levy of a tax to pay said bonds and authorize the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof. F, the motion would be to approve the budget status report for July 2020. 3, Committee of the Whole. The motion would be to approve the rezoning request for 1160 Plaza Drive. B, the motion would be to approve the Village of Schaumburg Cook County Class B tax classification incentive policy. C, the motion would be to approve the Village of Schaumburg Cook County Class 7 tax classification incentive policy. 4, Plan Commission. The motion would be to approve the 2020 to to 2024 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG 5-year plan, and 2020 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Action Plan. B, the motion would be to approve the 2019 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Action Plan Amendment for CDBG-CV funds and Citizen Participation Plan. 5, Zoning Board of Appeals. The motion would be to approve a special use for home occupation, home kitchen operation, preparation of baked goods for Reigning Grace Baked Goods, 108 Dorset Lane. B,
Pull, please.
the bakery one?
No, the B.
B, okay. And B would be the motion would be to approve a special use for an adult use cannabis business establishment for NAC 2 LLC, DBA Enlightened Cannabis for People 2, 820 East Gulf Road. And Trustee Dunham is pulling that. 6, resolutions. The motion would be to adopt as resolution R 20-058, eliminating the need for surety bond requirement for permit work to be performed by the Village of Schaumburg on state-maintained right-of-way. B, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R 20-059, authorizing the village manager to execute an agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and RJN Group, Inc. for the 5th phase of Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, MWRD, Inflow Control Program, IICP, Sanitary Sewer Evaluation Survey, SSES, Rehabilitation, Design, and Construction Services. C, the motion would be to adopt as resolution R 20-060, authorizing the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and Civil Tech Engineering, Inc. for small cell permit review assistance. D, the motion would be to adopt as resolution R 20-061, authorizing the village manager to execute an agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and WBK Engineering, LLC for the Springenskooth Road Culvert Phase 2 engineering. E, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R 20-062, endorsing and accepting involuntary deferral of salary increases for the village president, village clerk, and village trustees to April 30th, 2021. 7, ordinances. The motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 20-055, granting a special use for home occupation, home kitchen operation, preparation of baked goods for Reigning Grace Baked Goods, 108 Dorset Lane. B, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 20-056, granting a special use for an adult use cannabis business establishment.
It's pulled.
And that would be an ordinance granting special use for an adult use cannabis business establishment for NAC 2 LLC DBA Enlightened Cannabis for People 2, 820 East Gulf Road. And that's pulled by Trustee Dunham. Okay. C, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 20-056, authorizing a first amendment to the redevelopment agreement for the town center at Viridian Development, comprising a part of the North Schaumburg TIF district of the Village of Schaumburg, Illinois. D, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 20-057, providing for the issuance of not to exceed 14 million general obligation bonds of the Village of Schaumburg, Cook, and DuPage Counties, Illinois, to pay costs of general municipal improvements within said village, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof E, the motion would be to adopt as ordinance number 20-058, providing for the issuance of not to exceed $272,500,000 general obligation bonds of the Village of Schaumburg, Cook and DuPage Counties, Illinois, for the purpose of financing certain capital improvements within said village and refunding certain of the village's outstanding bonds, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds, authorizing and directing the execution of an escrow agreement in connection with the issue of said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof. This concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you very much. Looking for a motion to recommend approval minus the two items.
5B and 7B.
Thank you very much.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to recommend approval. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Biskey.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Committee reports, we have the one item that Trustee Dunham has asked to be removed for further discussion. So I will turn it over to Trustee Dunham.
I think this board made a mistake some time ago when we approved the original ordinance that would allow marijuana dispensaries to be in certain areas in the village. While I have a philosophical difference between with my colleagues concerning whether they belong here at all, I did vote for the ordinance mistakenly because I believe that we had some additional restrictions in it that we don't have. This will be the third potential marijuana use that has been proposed for location on Gulf Road. One was approved, one was withdrawn before the appropriate meetings took place, and now this is the third one. Gulf Road is the premier throughway in the village. It has some of the best shopping that we have, and I have no problem with this particular business wanting to be on Gulf Road. I mean, everybody wants to be on Gulf Road. It's an extremely visible location. But I don't think that Gulf Road is an appropriate place for a marijuana dispensary. The market for marijuana is going to be, its customers are going to be pretty dedicated. They're going to know where they are, where the dispensary is. They don't necessarily have to be out there in public for everybody passing by to see, oh, there's the Schaumburg Pot Palace. I have serious concerns about whether it belongs in the village at all, but I lost that battle. But I still have concerns about whether it belongs here in this highly visible location. I think that the business will do just fine if it's in an industrial park or on in a lesser location and so forth. So my vote will be no.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Look for a motion then.
So the motion would be to accept the recommendation to approve a special use for an adult use cannabis business establishment for NAC2 LLC, doing business as Enlightened Cannabis for People 2, waive first reading, and approve as ordinance number 20-059.
Nine.
Thank you. Ordinance granting a special use for an adult use cannabis business establishment for NAC2 LLC, doing business as Enlightened Cannabis for People 2, 820 East Gulf Road.
Make a motion to that statement.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Thank you, Lance. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
No.
Trustee Madey.
Aye.
Trustee Bischke.
Aye.
5 ayes, 1 nay, motion carries. Next item is comments from the audience.
No, we have the ordinance, don't we?
No, it was part of that.
So
We did both.
Yeah, I did, accepting the recommendation,
Yeah.
waiving first reading.
Got
and
it.
adopting.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Packaged it all.
Lance combined it all. So,
Nice job.
Thank you. So comments from the audience? Is there any comments? We have one person here. Thank you for being here. Anyone on the Zoom call that's looking? I'm not aware. Don't see anybody.
I think there was 2 in the waiting.
Looks like, are we all okay? Jack, we're good, right? Okay, thank you. Then we're going to move on. Council report.
Yes, so in a situation that should seem very familiar, I'll be asking for a motion for the village board to extend the proclamation declaring a local state of emergency originally made on March 20th, 2020, until the adjournment of the next regular meeting of the Village of Schaumburg Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to concur with that recommendation. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madey.
Aye.
Trustee Bischke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Anything further?
No, thank you.
All right, President's report. I do have one item. It was an article in a newspaper, a little piece in the suburbs in 60 seconds. This was back on Tuesday, July 21st, and it said that our Northwest Central Dispatch system, or organization, I guess, has received the first Public Safety Answering Point of the Year award from Illinois Heart Rescue. It's in conjunction with the Cardiac Arrest Registry to Enhance Survival. The award recognizes the Emergency Dispatch Center's consistent effectiveness at delivering CPR instructions to 911 callers. According to the center, the national average of someone calling 911 receiving pre-arrival instructions and actually performing CPR was 49% in 2019. Dispatch system average was 70.1%, so a good 20% higher. Dispatch telecommunicators properly classified cardiac arrest 90% of the time. And the 911 center serves about 500,000 residents in 11 Northwest suburban communities. So very nice. I'm sure we'll probably see something at some point officially from them, but it was in the paper, which I will pass on to the clerk. So,
Yeah, I'd just like to add on to that, coupled with that award last year, John Ferraro, who's the executive director at Northwest Central Dispatch, was selected as the director of the year. So we have a very, very effective and very high-performing 911 agency that serves our community, and we should be very grateful for the service that they provide not only to our residents, but to our businesses and visitors as well.
very good. Thank you. So is that the manager's report?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Anything further?
Nope.
New business? Nothing under new business. Unfinished business? Nothing there. Trustee comments and mentions. Anyone else? Going once, going
just have
12.
one.
Trustee Kozak.
Yeah, thank you. Just this week, to try to keep in the back of your mind, keep Jamie Bowden in your back of your mind. He needs some thoughts, some prayers. He had a severe heart attack issue this weekend, and he's over at St. Alexis. They've got him in an induced coma, and they're bringing out of it right now, so very slowly. But you can only go, from what I understand, 25 thousandths per hour, bringing him out of the coma, so he's got to come out really slow. So just keep him in the back of your mind and hope that all goes well for him and his new wife. He just got married a couple of weeks ago to Elma, and it's a sad situation. I was over at Mike Bowden's tonight, and he says, they're just hoping for the best. They don't know what's going to happen. They haven't even started to repair any issues within his heart or anything yet, because of the induced coma was taking the pressure off the brain, is what they've been doing all weekend. So just remember him this week.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, trustee Bischke.
Just real quick, I just wanted to say, in light of everything that we've been going through since March, it's been really nice in the last couple of weeks to see some of the new businesses in Schaumburg that have opened and that we've done ribbon cuttings for. We've got the Umbrella Tea House last week. We did Andy's Frozen Custard and the Infinity Dance Studio. So, given everything that's transpired, we still have new businesses opening their doors, coming online, and we're getting out and able to do some of those ribbon cuttings and celebrate with those business owners. So I just enjoyed that in the last couple weeks.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Nope. All right, look for a motion to adjourn. There is no executive session. Thank you. Motion.
Second.
Second, trustee Bischke. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bischke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.